Welcome. Welcome, everybody. How's everybody doing? I got my reindeer doggy going on. Hope everybody's doing well. Who we got here? Joyce, I'm going to get to your question in a sec. Thanks for joining. Peter, thanks so much for the kind words. Appreciate you joining. Good day in Sydney. Season's greetings back at you, Steve. What's going on? James, Syracuse. Stay warm. So listen, everybody in the States, in North America, the States here in Canada, hope you're doing okay. Hope you're staying warm. Pretty crazy storm indeed. We've got temperatures here in the Nashville area that we've never quite experienced before. So it's pretty crazy. Jody One, what's up? Happy holidays back at you. HH, what's going on in Ottawa? Love it. Russ, what's going on? Happy holidays. Good day, Craig in Melbourne. Ray, what's going on? Jill Zane in Quebec City. All right. Welcome. Thanks for joining. Glenn B, what's up? Pennsylvania. Season's greetings. Danny, what's going on in snow-covered Arkansas? Well, thanks so much for joining, everybody. Super appreciate it. Theodore, what's up? Going to do a little bit of a Christmas theme tonight, obviously. Right? So those of you joining for the first time, expand the description below the video. You'll be able to see a link to the tabs that we're going to go through. We do this each and every Friday. We go through some tabs, some musical examples, some exercises, what have you. And hopefully they'll inspire you to kind of work on it in the following week and expose you to some things maybe you haven't seen before, right? All right, Jim Gregory. And sorry to hear about the COVID, but I hope you're doing well. Kyle, what's going on? Merry Christmas back at you. All right. So before we dig in, if we've got the first question here that was left on here, Joyce was asking a good question about the Capo. Thanks so much, Zane. Yeah, we're staying warm, doing the best we can. It's pretty crazy, pretty biting cold down here for sure, but we're getting through it all right. So hope everybody else is further north from here. Joyce had a question about the Capo, and so I just wanted to take a few minutes because some of you might be interested in this kind of thing, and then we'll get to our Christmas stuff. She's basically saying that she's playing some songs in B flat. How do I use the Capo in the key of B flat? And the answer is there's a number of ways to do it. And what's going to help you a little bit is if you know what the chord sets are in a major key. Right. So we've talked a little bit about this before, and with apologies to your beginners or sort of new players that kind of get lost in the theory a little bit, I'll just spend a little bit of time talking about, in a major key, you've got 3 major chords and 3 minor chords. Okay. And if you go beyond that and kind of think of the order that they appear in, you've got your 1, 4, and 5 chord, which are major. You've got your 2, 3, and 6 chord, which are minor. Okay. There's also a 7th chord, which is diminished, but we don't have to worry about that usually. Okay. It's only some of the time you have to worry about that. But most of the time, you've just got a combination of 3 major chords, 3 minor chords. So what the Capo allows you to do is take a key like B flat that's going to require you to play mostly bar chords. Okay. All the way through. If you use the Capo, you can play open chord shapes and play in that key. So there's a number of ways to do this. So one of the first ways to do this for the key of B flat is to put the Capo on the 1st fret, right? And that gives you your 1 chord, which is B flat major. You can play it out of an open A shape. And that gives you your 1, 4, and 5 being A shape, D shape, E shape. Okay? So there you go. But the thing is, you can pick other Capo positions for this. So, for example, if I went up to Capo on the 3rd fret, okay, now the G shape is actually a B flat chord, right? The 6th fret of the low string is a B flat note. So the G shape with the Capo on 3 is going to let me play basically the open G. The key of open G in open chords and be actually playing in the pitch of B flat. Okay. So our 1, 4, 5 chord would be 1 chord would be a G shape, 4 chord would be a C shape. 5 chord would be a D shape. And so you're playing out of open chord shapes here, right? And then what are your minor chords here? Well, your 2 minor is A minor. Your 3 minor is B minor shape. These are shapes against the capo, okay? And the E minor would be your 6 minor, okay? So you've got those chord sets. That makes it a little bit easier to play in a weird key like B flat, okay? So that's sort of the short answer of it. If you have any other questions, hit me up on the forum or hit me up again throughout this. I have a feeling that maybe you did the question and then maybe you broke away from the session live, but rewind and hopefully you'll be able to see this. So there you go. Let's see where I left off. Bob, what's going on? Nice to see you. Appreciate it, King 50. Thanks so much. I got my ugly sweater on, right? Scott, what's going on? And Russ, thanks. Yeah. Quick little capo lesson, right? So, I mean, if you know your bar chords, you can play in the key of B flat just using bar chords, right? But on an acoustic guitar, sometimes it just sounds richer. It sounds nicer to have as many open strings or open chord shapes, as possible. And also, it's a little bit easier, right? So that's why a lot of times, particularly in praise and worship, but in all genres, you'll see the capo being busted out for different keys, okay? Fatih, what's up? Rad Flying V, what's going on? Good to see you. Hello, Erica and Quinn, what's going on? Thank you, appreciate it. All right, so let's have a look at the tabs for tonight. We're going through some Christmas repertoire a little bit and hopefully learning a few things along the way. That's sort of my approach with it. So once again, if you're new, expand the description below the video. You'll see a link to a Google Doc PDF. Click on that. It should come up for you. Exercise 1, a little bit of a G major scale warm up, and then we'll play a melody with it. Okay, so exercise 1A, we're going to go to the 5th position roughly, or 4th position probably, because we're sort of, our index finger on the lowest fret is pretty much dictates what position we'll play out of, right? So we've got a G major scale in this position, starting with the G note, 5th fret of the D string, 5-7 on the D, then 4-5-7 on the G string. And you kind of switch positions here to the 5th position because of the B string, 5-7-8 on both the B string and high string. Now notice how there's your higher root note, right? Our G note is in the higher octave is at the 8th fret of the B string. And I'm going to keep going. Okay. Up to the 8th fret of the high string, just to sort of hit all the notes in that position up top, right? Then I'm going to come back down. Okay. Down to that D note, and then just go one note below it, because that's kind of all we're going to hit in this melody, but then back up. Okay. So if you hit a metronome with that, try and do down up picking with it, might sound like this, and just try to do steady timing. Okay. Now, of course, I kind of went up above the higher octave note. I could keep going here. And get the rest of the notes in the in that particular position, in that pattern on the lower strings, and then come back up and end on where I started on the G note, 5th fret of the D string. You could do that, and I would encourage you to do that. Check out the scale finder on Guitar Tricks. It's in the toolbox, right? Check out the scale finder and find the position where the root note starts on the D string. Okay, there's just one pattern where your root will start on the D string, and it's this very pattern. Okay, so it's one of the 5 positional patterns that you'll find for any scale. Okay, all right, so there's G major in that position. Okay, so Santa Claus is coming to town, right? Let's play a little bit of a melody. Now notice, first thing is that just over where it says 1B, Santa is coming, it's letting us know we've got the bounce. We've got a little bit of a triplet shuffle, right? And that tends to be actually the de facto feel for a lot of Christmas songs, I realize. It has a bounce to it. All these sort of jazzy Christmas kind of ditties have a bounce. So instead of straight time, which would just be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, right, where the beat and the ands in between the beat are equidistant, right? So you've got steady time, right? Straight time, as it's called, where you've got a triplet shuffle or a swing feel or something like that. That means your and is getting pushed a little bit closer to the next downbeat. So instead of 1 and 2 and 3, we're going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So that's sort of the rhythm we're going to use with this melody, right? And so I'm going to play the melody and we'll break it down a little bit. It goes like this. All right. Add a little vibrato there at the end. I think I did that. All right. So there we go. Notes from G major. Okay. Playing it all in one position. All right. What do we got here? Kesso dropping in for a short time. Still working in Brisbane. All right. Well, I appreciate you dropping in for just a bit. Appreciate it a lot. Thanks so much. Nikki the dog is here. And yes, I've been fighting my guitars. We dropped 50 degrees here in the Nashville area last night. 50 degrees in like 6 hours or something crazy like that. Maybe a little bit more, but something like that. 8 hours. And it dropped 40, 50 degrees. And so the guitars went wacko, right? So there you go. That's the occupational hazards, right? Joseph, what's up? Thanks for joining. All right. So, simple melody, right? Now notice sort of, those ands, wherever we're going to do the ands, that's going to be pushed a little bit, right? So, okay. Please add some volume to the guitar. Let's see if we can do that. Just give me a sec here. You need a fiber guitar. I like that. Naftacaster, what's up? All right, Robin, what's going on? Hold on, I'm just getting my guitar level a little bit. I should have had this the mixer loaded before we started this. Let's see where we're at. Oh, dang it. That's not going to do it, I don't think. I got the wrong one. All right. Not sure why that guitar level is so low, but let's crank it up in the room a little bit. Maybe that's a little better. I don't know. Hopefully it's a little bit better. Okay, cool. All right. So if we played this straight time, right? But you put that swing in there. Okay. It's all about those ands getting delayed, right? Even the first pickup note is 7th fret of the G going to the 4th fret of the G, right? You know, if we're at 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, right? It would be kind of like that, right? But you got to... Okay. So that's the thing I want you to kind of look out for a little bit with that example, but just sort of a warm up on a melody, right? HH is got something here. If I figured out the notes to a song and I want to transpose that to chords, for example, how do I do that? Or can we use the example you just did? Yeah, that's sort of going to take a little bit of experience. There's no real sort of you know, kind of reverse engineering a melody into chords is kind of a little bit of a tough business, a little bit, because you need to sort of have the experience of knowing a lot of songs to be able to kind of like reverse engineer it a little bit. So it's sort of there's no short answer to that. So I apologize, right? Because I would have to sort of go away and think about it and sort of structure a lesson on sort of maybe some things to try, but it would kind of take up a lot of time tonight to kind of get into that. And also I feel like I would be better doing that if I was better prepared for that question. So I will make a note of that, HH, and I will try to work it in an upcoming session if that works for everybody. All right. It probably would be a whole session. Okay. So let's just sort of put it on the back burner for now and we'll come back to it. We'll round back on that. Okay. But great question. All right. So that's exercise 1. Exercise 2, in the same vein, but wanted to go sort of major pentatonic and play a little more of a almost lead melody. We got some bending going on a little bit and some sliding. So adding a little bit more of expression to our melody a little bit. So I'm going to show you the G major pentatonic mostly in the 12th position here, which would be sort of the E minor pentatonic box, right? Which is the relative minor of G major. Okay, but I'm actually going to start it on the G note, 10th fret of the A string. And it requires a position shift, okay? So 10, okay? And the reason I kind of did that is it's just the nature of this melody coming in the second part of exercise 2 here sort of comes from if you were to play like a G chord right here and start with the root note, 10th fret of the A, and then slide into that sort of box position 2 frets up. That's a really common sort of way to think about it. So 10th fret of the A string, 12th fret of the A, and then 14. And I'm going to just position shift at that point to the 12th position with my index finger, basically getting 14 on the A, and then straight up 12, 14 on the D, 12, 14 on the G, and then 12, 15 on the top 2. Okay, so we've got okay. And I know I've done this before, but you know the sound of the major pentatonic scale is my girl, right? So if you ever wanted to check out if you're playing the right notes, just start on the root and see if you can hear that riff of My Girl that everybody kind of knows and can key into, right? Okay, that's the sound that's just going up. That melody just comes from going up the major pentatonic scale. Once we get to G up here, this higher octave, 12th fret of the G, it's the same. Okay, so look for that a little bit. A little tip. There's sort of this pop Christmas song. I think it's Ariana Grande. I don't know if anyone's familiar with it, but it's got a cool melody, and it uses mostly, almost all, major pentatonic and some cool expressive things going on with it. So I'm going to play the melody, and we'll talk a little bit about it. It goes like this. Okay. Yeah, nice little melody here with lots going on. So in the same vein as My Girl, right? Okay. That is a classic major pentatonic sort of lick. And isn't it cool that the melody for this particular pop song sort of uses that? Okay. So we're not actually playing the root note first. It slides into the 14th fret of the A. And that's the first lyric, Santa, tell me. Okay. And then back to the 12th fret of the D, and then you're sliding right into 14 on the A. So, okay. sliding into 14 of the A, then 12, 14 on the D, and then going right up to 14 on the G. And this is our first full step bend. Okay, we're going to bend that up. So the first 2 bars one more time. Okay. Now, going into the next phrase. Okay. Classic kind of major pentatonic sound there, right? So starting on the G note, 12th fret of the G, bending up 14, full step on the G string, okay? And then grabbing 15 on the B string. Now check this out, okay? Think about the construction of the G chord, okay? Is root. The note we're bending up to is B. So that's the third, major third, and the 15th fret of the B string, which is D, which is the 5th. Okay. And then that final little lick, you're going to repeat that 3 times, and that final lick, okay, 14th fret of the G string is going to kind of have a pre-bend, and you're going to bring it down, and then down to 12. Now, what's interesting is that over that, I gave the chords that are going on over top of this part of the song. This is the chorus of the song, and it's actually an E minor, okay? So you've got, you're playing notes from G major pentatonic, but E minor is a chord in the key of G. So we've got notes that line up with that. It actually kind of highlights an E minor 7 with that D note, right? Still sounds really good. And then in the last bar, we actually go to more of a straight G major thing because we're going to go from G to F sharp, which is the major 7th in the G major scale. So for just that one note, it comes out of major pentatonic and goes to the full G major scale, right? Okay, so 12th fret of the D string. Okay, 12 pulling off to 11. And then back to 12. And then 11 and 12 again. So we've got a little bit of a pull off for expression. Okay. What's cool, look at the chord symbols in that last bar. Those 3 notes are happening under it with a D chord underneath. But isn't that interesting? G to F sharp, which F sharp is the major 3rd of a D chord, right? So that melody is really highlighting that chord change, right? Okay, and then back to the G note right when it changes back to G. Because this chord progression, if you look at the chords, Santa baby, C. And then the E minor, D, G, back to G. Okay, so I think it's pretty cool. All right? You with me on this stuff so far? Cool expression here, right? Like, instead of just playing, find spots where, if you figure out a melody, I ain't going to sing this. We went over this last week, right? Or a couple of weeks ago. It was a couple of weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. But, and we're going to have this problem tonight because a lot of these songs, you're going to have to imagine the melody of the song in your head because I'm not going to be able to sing it as I play some of these chord progressions. Okay. So there you go. But, think about any kind of melody that you figure out. If you figure out the notes and then figure out what notes would sound good being bent up. Like you can come a full step down and bend up to a note in the melody and just make it a little more expressive, right? So there you go. Fun little experiment maybe to try after Christmas next week, right? All righty. Cool. Exercise 3, Baby Please Come Home, Christmas. Absolute R&B classic, but I want to practice sort of just strumming chords on this, just for some of the more straight ahead players here, just getting to it. And then we'll talk about maybe what chords, what are the function of these chords and what key we're in maybe. Joseph, yes, people who can sing don't use complex chords, just simple ones. Most of the time that is true, but there are some freaks of nature out there that play complicated stuff on the guitar and somehow are able to sing over top of that, which I've never understood. But yes, most of the time, if you're accompanying yourself singing, you want to kind of keep it as simple as possible. I'm just going to play through this. This is 3A, exercise 3A. Okay. The snow's coming down, right? That one. We all know that one, right? Straight ahead. What key are we in? What are the chords? What's up, Ozman? Welcome, welcome. And how are the chords functioning within that key? So can you tell me what the Roman numerals of the chord progression is? Exercise 3A. All right. Let's talk about the strums. So there's two tip-offs, the way that we've notated this. Downstrokes and upstrokes. Your downstrokes are the staple-looking symbol on top of the tab, and the pointy symbol on top of the tab is the upstroke, right? Now, once again, we've got that triplet rhythm one more time. As you can see just above the 3A Christmas strum, it's telling us we got that bounce again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, so our upstrokes are going to be a little bit delayed coming into it. All right. Russ, good try. Not quite. Not quite correct. All right. Think about the root notes and think about what intervals are what intervals we've got with the roots, okay, of the chords. Almost correct, but not quite. One of the chords is not right. So for the strum, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and, right? Because we got a down, 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 up, down, up. Whoops. Okay. That's our strum pattern through most of this thing until the very last bar. And yes, Jim, you've got it. So we've got the 1 chord and then the 3 minor, right? Because think about it. E, if you go up the major scale, here's second note, third note is G sharp minor, right? That's the third, the root is the third note of the E major scale. Okay? You got it, Russ. You typed too fast. You had it. Had it all along. There you go. Russ and Jim, good job. Thank you. And so we're in the key of E, right? You make whatever the 1 chord is going to be the E, right? So there you go. Okay, E, yeah. So this is a good classic progression, right? 1 major, 3 minor, 4 major, 5 major. Okay? Cool. So we got that cool strum pattern, right? Down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down. Now, as an alternative, I mean, I tabbed out the A chord sort of in open position with the root 5 bar chord. Same with B. You could keep going with the root 6 bar chords, right? Might even be easier. If you're going from G sharp minor, just going. Now check out this strum on the B chord, last bar of 3A. Triplets, okay? And so, you know, normally you've got this 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now you're doing the triplets where it's 3 subdivisions per beat, where actually those are equally spaced out, right? Triplet, 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 triplet. So really where a triplet groove or a swing or a shuffle comes from is if you think about breaking it up into 3s each beat, triplet, 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 triplet. And if you took out that middle strum of the triplet, that's how you end up with that swung 8th groove. So from triplets to the swung 8. Okay. So, so I'm switching into that triplet there in the last bar. And in that case, you're going to be doing down ups, but you're going to be doing a kind of a different rhythm than what you've already done. See, how I always teach the strums is that you want to keep this steady, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, even if you're not strumming the chords with every motion, right? Like 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and, right? I still got this motion going, even though some of those I'm not doing the upstrokes. But what happens is when we get to that last bar, we have to change that. We have to like go faster because we're doing down, up, down, up, down, up. You know, every group of 6 is going to sort of roll over on itself. So, so it's kind of interesting a little bit. So you sort of have to adjust your strum for that last bar. So that's a good practice just in itself, right? Take it one chunk and just transition between the two. So like, right? Nice little exercise there. Just kind of go back and forth. Cool. Exercise 3B. I thought I'd throw in the bridge because the chord progression is a little bit different. And the chord progression now is actually the one that Russ had the first time. So they're singing Deck the Halls, right? And then it's a different chord here. It's the 6 minor. So it's C sharp minor in the key of E is the next chord. But then back to the 4 chord, which is A. And then I switched it up a little bit to go from B to B7, but with the same sort of change in strum. Okay. So lots of ways that you could do this one here. You could even do the last 2 bars all with B7. Sounds good, right? It's a nice little substitution on that. So it would be E, C sharp minor, A, and then B7. Sorry. Okay. Nice. Joseph, you just learned Old Fashioned Love Song by Three Dog Night with actual 3-part harmony. Do you do that one, Mike? I am familiar with that song, but I do not do it. But I am somewhat, I know what song you're talking about. So that's cool. Right on, man. It has actual 3-part harmony. Maybe I'll have a look at that one. Maybe I'll do some Three Dog Night coming up in some upcoming sessions, right? Cool. All right. Robin, I wonder, did Billy Squier do a version of this song? Baby, Please Come Home? He might have. Whatever happened to Billy Squier? I think he's still around, right? Okay. I think he had a bad video that killed his career, right? I digress. I'm the MTV generation, right? So I know. Exercise 4, Rocking Around the Christmas Tree. So this one, I checked out this song. There's actually a cool guitar part in the intro of this song. So thought I'd break it up into 2 parts. Let's sort of go through the rhythm a little bit, and then I'll show you this cool double stop riff. It's actually sort of some chord stabs and then a double stop melody that gets into this song, Rocking Around the Christmas Tree. So we're going to start with a G bar chord, and we're going to keep that Christmas bounce, right? That triple, that shuffle 8th groove, right? Now we're going to practice our mutes on the upstroke, okay? So you can see the X's on the tab. Once again, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, giving that bounce, right? But on the downstroke, I'm hitting the chord. On the upstroke, I'm letting go of the chord off the neck, but not the strings, okay? That allows me to get that muted percussive sound, right? So a good thing to practice if you just want to loop it, if you're kind of not used to this kind of thing. Because up to speed, it sounds pretty cool. Okay. Next chord, E minor. Root on the A string, 7th fret, barring down from the A all the way up, 9 on the D and G, 8 on the B. Same idea. C chord, root 5, 3rd fret of the A, barring down at the 5th fret of the D, G, and B. Same idea. Okay? And then D7 this time. D7 bar chord, 5th position, root on the 5th fret of the A string. We're barring down all the way up, 7th fret of the D and the B string, but the G string has got the bar at the 5th fret. That makes it a dominant 7th sound versus the D major. Now you've got a dominant 7th. Okay? So you put it together. Okay? Mark, I love it. He had the good taste to semi-retire. I think it was that one, right? All right, rocking around the Christmas tree, back to it. It's got a really cool guitar part, and you're sort of grabbing this shape up here, up the neck a little bit. So I've got 16 on the G, 17 on the B, 15 on the high string. Okay? Now, over the G chord, you're throwing in an E note over that G chord. Okay? And that sort of gives you a G6 sound, which is a little bit sort of jazzy a little bit, which sort of fits this, right? So if you can imagine that G chord, and we're going to come in and just go with, you know, some up with an up, down, and sliding down. 1, 2, like that, okay? Now it goes to E minor, and it turns out these same notes are actually an E minor triad. So that works great. We don't have to change anything. Okay, we're doing the same part. And then over the C chord, we're going to keep those notes. And that sort of gives you a C major 7 kind of thing, right? Because you've got the B note, which is the major 7 in relation to C. So that kind of, you know, over that C chord gives it a C major 7 sound. And now we're going to strum it. Okay. And just build into this last, this is sort of the money sort of riff of this whole thing. Okay. So if I play the whole thing, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2. Okay, so that sounds very iconically sort of Christmas a little bit, that kind of melody. So I'm like, I got to teach that one, right? So what we're doing is we're going up to the 19th fret of the G and B string, which fits with the move that we're on a D7 chord right there. So that's actually notes from D major, right? Or it's the root and third of a D chord. So that works. And then you're sort of just coming down. If you can think of it coming down from the 5th in the G major scale and coming down to the G note, and then you're kind of harmonizing on the B string. Really cool. I think I added a vibrato on that, and that's no easy feat actually on a double stop like that. You kind of got to shake the whole finger a little bit. So there you go. Cool. I think it's a cool guitar part, right? And it shows you, kind of the idea with double stops is that you're really just harmonizing a melody. So you're playing two notes at the same time, and it's a melody and a harmony being played together. So good stuff, I think. Exercise 5, arpeggiation time. Turn on the heat a little bit here. All right. No one care. Oh, sorry to hear that, Ali. I'm sorry to hear it. Okay, so I'll Be Home for Christmas, another classic, right? We're going to go to 12/8 time, right? So we're going to start to think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Groups of 3, Okay. It'll make a little more sense when you hear the arpeggiation of the chords. So I'm going to start with the C chord. Okay. Third fret of the A, fifth fret of the D, G, and B. Okay. And then up to E minor. Seventh fret of the A, 9 on the D and G, 8 on the B. Okay, so we're going to go through a bunch of chords here. This is basically a chord progression. I'll be home for Christmas, so you're going to have to kind of imagine that melody over top. But in any case, there's lots of cool chord changes in this one. It definitely veers outside of one key. Okay, so this is a good example of some modal interchange going on where you've got some minors happening in spots that you wouldn't expect. So start on the C. Oh, I'm actually going to play through this and we'll talk a little bit about it. So getting in with the... I like those sounds. There's another one. Ah. Fun stuff. Lots of different chord changes. Great stuff here to work on your bar chords, which I clearly still need a little bit of practice on. For the F minor is a tough one, guys. Okay. Very cool. I like that chord progression. Kind of work on this. Work on your picking direction a little bit, right? Like you can kind of pick this in a lot of different ways. Like you could use alternate if you wanted to. It's a little bit more challenging than just going in each direction as you go up and down, right? If I down, 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 and then up, 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 that's probably a little bit easier. I think that's a little more intuitive. But any of these work, right? Absolutely, Robin. Oh, Billy does have a Christmas song. I'm like thinking, I can't quite piece it. I'm gonna have to look it up. He did have a Christmas song, Billy. Keep it on the Billy Squire. All right. So yeah, so lots of cool chord changes there. Try to think of the melody, once you sort of get it under your fingers a little bit and start playing through it, try to think of it, I'll be home for Christmas. Some bad singing there for you. Scott, yes, indeed. Listen, I may be a pro guitar player, meaning I make my career in guitar capacity. But man, it doesn't matter what level you get to, you're always working on, there's always something that can be better. Okay. Absolutely 1,000%. Okay. So I'm not sitting here going, acting like I don't need to practice. Not the least. Okay. Nowhere near I would like to be as a player. And I've been playing for a long time. So it's just, you know what? It never ends. It never ends, guys and girls. All right. Let's see here. Exercise 6. Oh, a few classic intros. I thought we would do some classic Christmas intros. Just keep working. Keep working, okay? That's the whole point, is that, if we can sort of seem like we know what we're doing, then that's where we want to get to. So keep working at it. And hopefully it's fun while you're working on it, right? That's the whole point. Exercise 6A, classic intros. First one, All right, so that's actually the intro of the big Mariah song, right? All I Want for Christmas Is You. which is actually played, I think, on a bells or something, glockenspiel, perhaps. But cool little intro, right? Grabbing a G major, major 7 shape up here. 10th fret of the A, 9th fret of the D, 7th fret of the G and B, okay? Okay? Just arpeggiating that one, and then you're going to move to E minor 7. So that's the 7th, barring down at 7th fret of the A all the way up, 9th fret of the D, 8th fret of the B. But check it out, nice little pull off there, 8 to 7 on the B string. And I'm not just doing like a strum like that, I'm doing like sort of a rake strum or a brush stroke, where you sort of do a quick arpeggiation of the notes. It's a little more expressive, right? So, sorry. What? Whoa. What am I doing? Okay. And then it's just to the C major bar chord. And I'm just hitting the lower part of that. Just a strum on the lower part of the chord and then arpeggiating D string, G string, B string. And then just strumming the bottom 4 strings of the D major. Okay? But pretty iconic little melodies, and I like that. Classic intros. There's good stuff there. So here's another one. Super simple R&B approach to a 2-chord progression. It's kind of iconic. All right. So we've got 3rd fret. Yeah, there you go. Absolutely. Love it. Okay. Exercise. This is 6B. And, just playing off a G, highlighting G and C. So let's look at it. 3rd fret of the low string. That's your root note. Sliding up to 7, grabbing 5. Once again, spelling out the G major, right? Root, sliding from the 2nd to the major 3rd. And then grabbing the 5th. And then boom, we're at the 3rd fret. Okay, so that's the root of the next chord, C major. Now, what's cool about this is that we're doing 8th notes and then doing rests in between. Okay, so kind of have to cut it off. 3rd fret. And then at the very end, going from E to F sharp to G. So just a walking melody back up to the G. So love that riff. It's great. It's simple, but it's syncopated, right? There's a little bit of meat on the bone as far as the rhythm of it, but once you kind of got it. Love it. It's really fun to play. Okay, so that's a good one. How about Jingle Bell Rock? Now, this one is on Guitar Tricks, by the way. But I just love this intro riff so much. So I'm just going to play it first and then we'll talk about it. Whoa. Okay. So iconic Christmas sound right there. So sliding up, again, we're using double stops, right? So we're sliding up to the upper part of a D major chord. Okay, so we're in the key of D. We're just grabbing 15 on the B, 14 on the high string, and kind of tricky because we're sliding quickly. Okay, and there's a couple of strums on it. And then it's just 14 on the top 2 strings. So, okay, like that. Okay, then it's back up to sliding to 15 and 14 on the B and high string. And you're sort of in the position once you strum the first one, 15 and 14, that you can put your pinky on 17 and get 15 and 17 on the second strum. So you're sliding in like that. So quick position shift here, right? From 15 and 17, you got to come down to the 10th position. Barring down at the 10th fret, barring down at the 12th fret. Once again, we're on the top 2 strings. And then a little bit of a bluesy bend, quarter note bend, or quarter step bend, sorry, 12th fret of the top 2 strings. So just a little bit of a bluesy thing. 12th fret of the G and B. And I was hammering it on. They don't actually do that on the song. It's just 11 and 10 on the G and B string, which ends, right, highlighting once again the D chord, right? Okay, so. I had it on the hammer-on. It makes it sound a little bluesier, right? But you don't have to do that. You can just go like that. But if you hammer on from 10 to 11 on the G, it gives it a little bit of bluesy sound, right? Love that intro. I got to play it one more time. Good stuff. It's on Guitar Tricks, all right? So check it out. Lots of fun chords in that one, too. And we've made it to our last example here with a few minutes to spare, maybe for some questions if you got any. But got to do like sort of a jazzy thing, right? So I thought we would go to the fingers here. And oh, no, maybe not. Yeah, fingers. Let's go fingers for this. And all right, let's play through it. This is Winter Wonderland, kind of. So again, if you can imagine that melody, we'll talk about it a little bit. So pretty close. I'm gonna try it one more time. Let's go here. Okay, so. All right, so the idea here is that we got our thumb on the root, and then we're plucking the higher part of the chord. So check out this C major 7, 3rd fret of the A, 5th fret of the D, 4th fret of the G, 5th fret of the B string. Okay? And then I'm kind of just slapping my fingers onto the strings to cut it off and give that percussive sort of muted strum sound or pluck sound. And then it's right back in. Okay, so in that first bar, you've got 8th notes, all 8th notes until the second pluck of the higher part of the chord. Then you're letting that ring out for a full beat. And then hitting on the 4th beat, that mute. Okay. In the second bar, we're changing chords halfway through. So we're going to play the first sort of strum twice. Okay. So, right. Has anyone heard the Thin Lizzy Sex Pistols duet Christmas song? I need to look that up. My gosh. How did I not know about this? Rad Flying V. I got to check it out. Love it. Love it, guys. Okay, so this is a classic move also. Jazzy move from the C major 7 to the C sharp diminished 7th. Okay. And it only takes one finger. Okay. You're in the position for the C major 7. All you have to do is move the middle finger to the A string 4th fret. And you've sort of got like a C dominant 7th up top. But with that root note, it makes it a diminished 7th chord. So this is a really cool chromatic move getting to the next chord, which in this case is a D minor 7, right? 5th fret of the A string, barring down all the way up, and I'm grabbing the 7th fret of the D, 6th fret of the G. Okay, so. Check out that second bar, right? Like each chord, like you start on the C major 7, and that has, it's just that. And then you're doing exactly the same strumming approach on the next chord. Right? So D minor 7. Now we're back to a full bar. So the strum is like the first bar. Okay. And then G7. Okay. And I'm grabbing the full chords here, even though it looks like, you know, like I've said this before, a lot of times you look at the tab and you only need certain notes out of the chord, right? Because we're plucking only the D, G, and B string of the top part of the chord. But it is useful to get like the full bar chord if you can do it, the full shape. Because not only you're practicing the full shape, but also if you happen to mess up and hit a different string, you're going to still have a note that works, right? So no one will notice so much, right? So. I love this move right here where we're getting into the couple bars of the descending thing where you got G major, F major, E minor, and then this cool A7 sharp 5. I love that chord because you can't linger on that one too long. It's too tense, right? Here's your normal A7, right? But if you sharp the 5, it makes it super tense. So I love that sound, right? So. Then D9. So that's 5th fret of the A, 4th fret of the D, barring down on the top 3 strings. 5th fret. Back to G7. And then C major 7 with your, grab your thumb and rake it down, right? All right. Hopefully it was enjoyable. Hopefully you got something to maybe work on to blow away your family around the tree this weekend, right? That's what we're all trying to do. So yeah, super appreciate, man, we had a great turnout tonight. So super appreciate everybody jumping on tonight and getting in this last session before Christmas. Twisted Sister Christmas album, man, I got to check that out too. Thanks, Glenn. Awesome. Well, HH, excellent. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Danny, Merry Christmas back at you. King 50, thank you. Robin, thank you. Craig, thanks so much. Peter, Scott, Zane, thanks so much. Nikki the dog, of course. Thank you. Steve, awesome. Russ, thank you. Appreciate it. King 50, thanks so much. And back to you and yours. Jody 1, don't know if I'm going to blow away. I'm sure going to try. Love it. Jeff, thank you. Happy holidays back at you. Thanks, Erica. Appreciate it. Glenn, thank you. Thanks, Rad. Flying V, as always. Rick, thank you. Theodore, thank you. Joseph, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Merry Christmas. Jim, all right. James, right on, right on. Awesome. Yeah, so we'll be back for New Year's edition next week. We'll be back on the acoustic. We're always sort of switching it up, right? So we'll do an acoustic thing next week. Might be finger picking or a workout. I'm not sure which one. I think it's a workout. So we'll do that before New Year's next week and keep it going into 2023. All right. Gerald, thanks so much. Back at you. Kyle, thanks so much. Back at you. Mark B, please send me the email link. I'm not getting them anymore. Well, HH, that's really great. Oh my gosh. I'm glad that you're still rocking it. Keep going with it. Okay, please. Mark, yeah, I heard, I have a guitar student that says that he doesn't get notified about these. So I'll send a note to admin about it and see if we can get the emails flowing again for the sessions. All right. But we're here at the same time every week, right? 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern in North America. All right. Maybe you might have to subscribe to the channel again or something. I don't know if you did or not, but I'll make a note. Mark B. Okay. I will do. Take care, everybody. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. We'll see you next week. I hope you have a safe one. Stay warm. Cheers. We'll see you guys. See ya.